Hi, everyone, and welcome to Acies Innovations in Conversation with Thought Leaders. This is a series of talks that we pick the minds of thought leaders out there, right, to understand what's happening in the landscape of KM. In the last decade, we've been hit by changes, right? The introduction of technology, the introduction of artificial intelligence, and even new media creeping into the realms of knowledge management. Now, what does this mean to you? As thought leaders, let's hear their views. Today we have with us Mr. Rudolf D'Souza. Now, Rudolf was the past chairman of the KM Global Network for the last 2 years, and he's now the immediate past chairman, looking after the network of 12 countries, which brings about thought leaders and shares their perspective on the movement of KM globally. Rudolf is the Chief Knowledge Officer of AFCONS Infrastructure Limited, which is well known for its extreme projects. AFCONS looks after major public infrastructure in India and Africa. And just to name a few, and Rudolf, you've got to correct me if I'm wrong here. From what I know, right, AFCONS has built the longest tunnel above 3,000 meters, and it's also currently constructing the world's highest arch bridge, which is known to be, which is going to be taller than the Eiffel Tower, and has constructed the deepest port in Oman. Extreme stuff that's going on. That actually, the question in my head is, how do you guys actually manage all this knowledge? Now, just for introduction, how big is your team, Rudolf? Over to you, Rudolf.
Thank you so much, Rajesh. I'm really honored that you all consider me worthy to be the first among the thought leaders that you all are interviewing. And it is a pleasure to be on with all of you. Thank you. Our company is going to touch $2 billion in turnover. We have 3,500 engineers, and this does not count the workers who are working on the projects. And my team is 13 members as of now. And we have knowledge ambassadors. So we have 143 knowledge ambassadors spread across our different projects. So each project has at least 3 knowledge ambassadors. Some can go up to 5. Some have even 7 knowledge ambassadors based on the number of engineers based at that particular project. So this is how we reach out. Yes.
Right. So a team of 13 is taking part together with knowledge ambassadors, you say, in building all these extreme engineering feats out there. It's amazing, and I have so many questions that I want to ask you. But let's start first with what happened to us in 2020, and that was the global COVID pandemic. Now, it pushed all of us to go into a different mode of work. We were going virtual in everything that we did. So what do you think, given our experience in 2020, would the future of work be like?
See, we have been reflecting on this, and our experience over the last 1 year has shown that even a traditional, so-called traditional organizations like AFCONS, which is into infrastructure, we have realized that, yes, we have managed pretty well, I would say, remotely. It was tough initially because if you understand, a lot of our work is a collaborative effort between the engineering and the construction team, and as well as the clients. So construction is a highly collaborative activity. And initially, even getting our clients to be able to work collaboratively, to work virtually was very tough. And we even had to provide sometimes the infrastructure to them so that they could give us the approvals. And people are not used to, normally everyone works on physical drawings. So they sign off on the drawings and then we do go for construction. So I'm just give you one aspect of how the industry works. And so we had to really work very hard on virtual collaboration. So the virtual collaboration was in different types. One is internal. So our engineering teams, we work on projects. They could be at different places across the country. And so they all had to work. Normally everyone sits together, but now they were working from home. The infrastructure had to be provided to them within a week's time, and then everyone had to be operational because work could not stop. Though work did stop, because of the pandemic, and then it started again. So now we realize actually that yes, a lot of work we will have to come back again, no doubt about it. But quite a bit of work we can also work virtually.
Mm.
But we do feel that at least our sector, some of the work will be virtual, and quite a bit of the work will come back to physical spaces. Other industries may be different, so we keep reading about the IT sector, and those who are a lot, they work more virtually. But I think across all sectors, this has been a big change. So the way work is going to happen is going to be partly, I would call it hybrid. We are going to actually
Mm.
be working in a hybrid environment. Okay, quite a bit will be virtual, and the rest will be physical.
I think this hybrid model is it's been spoken about, and I think it's already kicked off with some conferences that are now operating because only a minimal number of people can attend the conferences. In a workplace scenario like what you shared, yeah, within the KM team itself, the one that you're heading, now what were the functions that had to that the team members had to make? Because um, previously the KM team could speak freely with the KM investors, like you said, or maybe even go down to the site to actually have a visual appreciation of what's going on. So in this period, and leading on to the future, now what functions, what changes were there within the KM functions in your team?
Oh, we had to change. I would say we pivoted very fast because in AFCONS, what makes us successful is a facilitated model of knowledge capture.
Mm-hmm.
So before an activity, maybe at this stage I should talk about, we follow the learn before, learn during, and learn after model.
Mm-hmm.
So before an activity, we actually have experts and subject matter experts will go down to a particular project, and we will review along with the people who are executing that particular aspect. They will go through the entire method, they will revise with them, they will share learnings. The whole object is like just in time knowledge, so that when they execute they know what is to be done. They've already anticipated the different problems, the learnings from others have come in, and so we are able to execute fast and more effectively. Similarly, when we do lessons learned capture, it's again a facilitated process. So we have a facilitator and maybe an expert or two experts, depending on the type of activities, who will go down to the particular project site. We spend half the day doing the Gemba walk. So we will actually walk around the project because that's when you visually able to pick up clues and cues. And then when we come back to the site, that's when we really start the lessons learned process, where the team takes us through the entire history of the particular activity or the project as we're going. And through questioning, etc., then we start to finalize, or we tend to, sort of come out to different issues that we would like to create the lessons learned on. So that's the part. Then we get into the actual lessons learned over the next day or two. And that's how we do the capture. Now, when we were sitting virtually, so initially for the first month and a half or so, we were a little, I would say, still to find how we're going to go about it. But then we started doing lessons learned session virtually. Now, this is very different because when you go to a project, you're an expert, you see things and you're able to then understand, okay, nuances. Now, what we did, we had actually a virtual walkthrough. So either they would have shot in advance the different aspects of the project, or we've already created the virtual walkthroughs of the project. We take people through and then we would sit down, then we'd start asking questions, etc. And so we had to change that model where we would physically go there. Secondly, the projects would, at that time, it would be through conversations we would surface issues. Now we found that was very difficult, so we actually got the sites to start working on the issues in advance, and then they would share it. Now this was, it didn't happen in one session. Over the next 3 4 5 6 sessions, we suddenly came to the modified model, and that's how we are operating today. So this was a major change that we had in terms of learning capture. So knowledge management in AFCONS consists of two groups: the knowledge management part and the technical training. We call ourselves the knowledge services group. Even the technical training, okay, we had to change the way in which we were actually doing our training sessions. And this we found was very beneficial because we started having the experts were able to conduct sessions for 1 or 1.5 hour every afternoon. We started, so earlier it would be once a week, sometimes once a month we would have experts. But because of the lockdown, people were available. We would actually have training sessions every day for the first 6 weeks until things started to come back a bit to normal, and then we tapered it off. But this was a big learning for us. Now we could reach out to everyone live. There could be questions. We started recording it, and we also created the AFCON studio. So all these sessions are now uploaded and available to anyone on demand.
Well, I think what you've just said, it covers so many aspects. Starting from learning before and just that learning during, where you implemented the technical training, the hourly trainings that you're doing, um, investing in the studio and building that repository of videos so that there's going to be knowledge reuse and just keeping that knowledge base so rich with learning and added lessons that you're going through. I think that's amazing what you guys are doing. Um, Now, comparing a physical walkthrough, because I see much of lesson learned and understanding the ground. We always say you have to have your boots on the ground. Yeah. And converting this into a virtual walkthrough now. Yeah. Um, well, economically, it saves a lot of time and it saves a lot of money, right? Then again, you also are able to actually have expertise who are very busy, not spend so much time flying to different venues, especially in the countries that you guys operate in, which are large. Yeah. Now, we are seeing the application of technology and even artificial intelligence coming into KM. How do you think AI can be leveraged for knowledge management in specifically the construction industry?
So actually, as you will know, an expert, the knowledge actually gets, it's called limbic knowledge. The knowledge really gets right into you. And, so when you're walking, you will be able to sense things that are happening, etc. And, but it's not, so one big advantage was that we now were able to conduct more lessons learned sessions because everything was virtual. We got the attention of the experts, so that was a big benefit that we had, and we still continue that, so we are taking that forward. We cannot not have experts visiting sites, so as soon as it is now available to travel, we are having the experts travel to the sites. But the team doesn't go now, because so it's a hybrid sort of way of working. And we also started to get clued in. So maybe a bit of learning is that, we have the monthly reviews, etc. So the trigger points come actually from the monthly reviews, meeting a lot of people, understanding issues, etc. So things have changed the way in which we actually capturing knowledge. And we are exploring about artificial intelligence. A global survey has shown that in terms of adoption of technology, infrastructure sector and agriculture is below in infrastructure sector. We are the laggards as far as adopting of technology is concerned, and we are trying to correct that. So we are already started to explore different options. We've started using drone technologies in doing surveys. They are also linked with artificial intelligence, so they are actually able to do quantity surveys for us at times, all at the experimental stage. Because also you have to remember, in our industry, a lot has to do with the client acceptance, because everything involves money. So estimations, etc. So how is technology? So while we are experimenting, our clients, I mean, we call them the employers, they also have to learn to sort of accept the technology and the results. So it has to go step by step. But as far as we are concerned, we are getting a lot of vendors coming to us with different solutions, and we are exploring all the possibilities.
Thanks, Rudolf. I think COVID, that period in 2020 actually was a springboard. If we look at it as a positive side, then it actually springboarded many agencies to the adoption of technology. Yeah, and digitalization is something that we've been speaking about for a couple of years back already, at least in the community. Yeah. If I was to ask you, as a leader in the construction industry, Rudolf, if you could give some advice to construction industry companies or organizations out there who have yet to go full deep into embarking technology, embracing digitalization, what would you say?
Actually, the possibilities are endless. Technology is one thing that what we've seen over the years is that uh, maybe I'm just saying, you take the digital theodolite, so you have a total station, okay, which is also linked to satellite, etc. So this is one aspect where it has revolutionized surveying, and it is now globally used by any and every company. So similarly, new technologies are coming, like a drone survey. Okay, so the drones also use your instrumentation, which is used in engineering, and a layer of software, which does the interpretation. Okay, and then presents the results to you. So we are seeing that technology is starting to work even in in the infrastructure sector, and in terms of quantities, etc. So areas where there could be human errors, we find that if you could supplement it with technology. The other area is safety. So you have got a lot of digitalization. So you've got electronic fencing, okay, and you've got if you are supposed to be in a particular area, then if you stray too close to a danger point, there'll be an alarm set off in your helmet, etc. So these are areas where already technology is working. The other areas, technology is being used in equipments. So we are able to actually remotely monitor the productivity of the equipment that we're using in different projects. But beyond that, the analytics actually help us in order to improve our decision making as to how to deploy these equipments. So we've already started to see the benefits in, I would say, green shoots of the benefits. And I'm sure that it will soon become well accepted in the industry. A few people have to lead, they have to get, but like I also mentioned, you need to have the employers also on board as far as technology is concerned.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rudolf. Now, last two questions, right? What do you think is the future of KM, and why is KM important for construction industry companies?
See, in terms of the future of knowledge management, um, actually, there was a time when knowledge management around the year 2000, 2003, it was a buzzword globally. So it follows like the Gartner hype cycle, and then it went through the trough of disappointment, etc. And now it has reached a steady state. But we are right now in the midst of the knowledge economy. And it is proved because so many people are able to uh, start their businesses based on knowledge. And the other resources follow, but knowledge is the key resource. So the future of knowledge management is bright. You may not want to call it as knowledge management as such, but knowledge management, because you're in the knowledge economy, it is all about knowledge. And the people who are able to leverage and uh, build their intellectual assets and use the intellectual capital wisely are the ones who are going to win over others who are not using the intellectual, or they're not doing the knowledge management well. As far as the construction sector is concerned, we need to always remember that projects are becoming, the employers becoming very demanding. What we used to construct maybe in 5 or 6 years, today it is expected that you do it in 3 years. So the time frame has reduced. Again, the margins have come down drastically. So uh, given in these circumstances, it is knowledge that is going to give you your advantage. So past knowledge how do you apply it efficiently to deliver projects as per the expectations? Secondly, every project, people believe that, okay, you're constructing a flyover, you're constructing a port, everything is the same. No, 70% is standard knowledge. It is 30% new knowledge that is created because of site specific conditions. 10% out of the 30%, 10% is innovations. So this is really where we need to focus. Every infrastructure company, if it just focuses on that 30% of knowledge, you will keep improving in terms of your efficiency. So I see the future of knowledge management for the overall is bright, and in construction sector, it will continue to be vital.
Thank you so much, Rudolf. I think we really have to say a big thank you for letting us have a sneak peek into the insights of what's going to be changing in the future of KM for the construction industry. And for you, I know you're very busy to share your time with us and your thoughts on how to lead KM into the future so that all of us will be operating in smart organizations. So Rudolf, again, thank you very much. Stay safe.
Thank you, sir.
And I'll speak to you again soon.
Thank you so much, Rajesh, for the opportunity. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.